when you signed up for this was a 6-year term. And you should be showing up to work. I mean, literally, the Senate, what is it, like a French work week? You get like 3 days where you have to show up. You can campaign or just resign and let someone else take the job. There are a lot of people living paycheck to paycheck in Florida as well. They're looking for a senator that will fight for them each and every day.
The only reason why you're doing it now is because we're running for the same position, and someone has convinced you that attacking me is going to help you.
Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio in a spirited discussion last night with the former Florida governor, calling out his one-time protege, now the junior senator from the Sunshine State, concerning Rubio's attendance record on Capitol Hill. But the consensus was the tactic wasn't exactly successful for Jeb. Well, let's ask the former co-chairman of the Jeb Bush for Governor campaign, Ed Pozzuoli. Ed, currently president of the Tripp Scott Law Firm, Skyping in from Fort Lauderdale. Ed, as always, we thank you for your time on Newsmax Prime. So, Jeb takes exception to Marco. We just saw that. Your take on that interchange?
Hey, look, legitimate conversation, a legitimate point to raise. But at the end of the day, it is really about who has the ability to govern, JD. And we know Jeb Bush does. And the question is, where is Marco Rubio on that? Jeb has a record of $19 billion of tax cuts, 1.3 million jobs created, 8 years of balanced budgets, AAA rating, one of the most conservative governors ever in Florida and probably across the country. That's what the Florida record for Jeb is. I wish he would have spent more time emphasizing that.
You know, Ed, NBC News had a headline on its webpage earlier today saying Jeb's campaign is on life support after a rough debate. Now, we can all consider the source, but how would you respond to that?
Well, look, I think the campaign itself, if you look back over the 3 or 4 months, the campaign has to recalibrate based upon what Republican primary voters are saying. Republican primary voters are saying, hey, we want to look at some of these outsiders like Donald Trump and Ben Carson. And so the campaign has to recalibrate. But I do think that one of the things that Jeb must do is bring energy to the stage, show his leadership. It's just not about a nice debate. It is about being able to govern. I'd like to hear him talk about education, the things that he did in Florida by offering lower and middle class families the opportunity of educational choice, JD. That's what is important in Florida, and it's turned many lives around as his 8 years of governor. That's one of those key things I would have liked to heard more of.
All right, we'll see what happens. Debate number 4 is straight ahead. Ed Pozzuoli, we thank you for your time. Now, time to hear from you as you offered your comments via social media. Steve checking in, assessing what he calls the debate debacle. He says the GOP debate was a leftist debacle as expected. Rubio was prepared for the obvious questions coming his way and is looking forward to absorbing Bush's supporters. I found Mr. Trump's new persona to be the best improvement of all. I knew he would make adjustments as necessary while progressing forward to the White House. So it sounds like Steve is there for the Donald. We'd like to hear from you. Send me your comments, newsmaxtv.com/comments. My final comment, as always, stay brave, stay free, stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow night.